There comes a moment when life feels noisy, even when everything around you is quiet. You may be surrounded by people, messages, and constant movement, yet still feel like something is missing inside. That feeling often comes when too much attention goes outward, and not enough focus is placed on building yourself. This audiobook is not about chasing approval or trying to keep up with others. It's about stepping back from that cycle and learning how to build a stronger foundation within your own life. It is about learning how to think clearly, act with discipline, and stay steady even when things around you are uncertain. Inside this journey, you will learn how to stop depending on motivation and start relying on consistency. You will understand how to take responsibility for your actions and create structure in your daily life. You will see how to protect your focus, manage your energy, and remove distractions that slow your growth. You will also learn how to stay calm under pressure, develop useful skills, and make decisions that support your future instead of delaying it. This is not about fast results or quick change. It is about steady improvement through simple actions repeated every day. It is about building habits that support your progress, even when no one is watching and no one is praising your effort. If you are ready to shift your attention away from constant noise and move toward a more focused and intentional life, this audiobook will guide you step by step. Chapter 1. Stop seeking approval and start building your inner strength. Approval feels good for a moment. A kind word, a nod, a message that says you did well, a sign that someone sees value in you. That feeling is human. It is normal to want respect and acceptance. No one wants to be ignored all the time. No one wants to feel unwanted or misunderstood. But when approval becomes the thing that guides every choice, then life starts to shrink. Your mind gets pulled in many directions. Your energy gets spent on faces and opinions instead of growth and truth. You begin to ask other people how to live your life. You start checking yourself through their eyes. You hesitate before speaking. You change your plans too fast. You question what you know. You become easier to control and harder to trust yourself. There is a quiet power in deciding that your life will no longer be run by approval. That does not mean becoming cold. It does not mean rejecting everyone or acting as if opinions do not matter. It means understanding the difference between useful guidance and empty validation. It means caring about what is right more than what is popular. It means building a stable self from the inside so that praise does not make you arrogant and criticism does not break you. This is where strength begins, not in loud success, not in constant attention, not in winning every argument. Strength begins when you no longer need the room to clap before you believe in your own steps. A person who depends on approval lives like a house with too many windows and no walls. Everyone can look in. Everyone can influence the temperature. Everyone can decide whether the day feels safe or not. One positive comment raises the mood. One harsh look destroys it. One ignored message feels like rejection. One compliment feels like oxygen. That is not peace. That is dependence. And dependence on people always becomes exhausting because people are inconsistent. They are busy. They are distracted. They have their own problems. Their attention shifts. Their moods change. Their opinions are shaped by fear and bias and temporary emotion. If your sense of worth rises and falls with their reactions, then you will never stand firmly, for long and strength changes that. Inner strength is the ability to remain steady when the outside world is uncertain. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you are building. It is the discipline to keep going when no one notices. It is the honesty to look at yourself without excuses. It is the calm refusal to beg for permission to become better. When you build that kind of strength, your life becomes more stable. Your mind becomes less noisy. Your choices become cleaner. You stop performing for people and start living with purpose. This kind of strength is not something you are born with fully formed. It is built through repetition. It is built through small decisions made on ordinary days. It is built when you do what is right, even when it is not praised. It is built when you keep your word to yourself. It is built when you learn to sit with discomfort instead of running to distraction. It is built when you face the truth about your habits and stop hiding behind excuses. That is how character forms. That is how confidence becomes real. Not by pretending, not by talking about change, by living it. Many people spend years chasing approval because they confuse attention with value. They think being noticed means being meaningful. They think being liked means being secure. They think being chosen means being worthy. But attention is not the same as respect. Popularity is not the same as peace. Being wanted by others does not automatically mean you are building something solid in your own life. Sometimes the people who look most confident are the ones who feel most empty inside, because they built their identity on reaction instead of substance. When the applause fades, they have nothing left to stand on. That is why the first step is simple and hard at the same time. Stop asking the world to define you. Start doing the work that defines you. Sit quietly and notice how often your choices are shaped by fear of disapproval. Do you say yes when you want to say no? Do you stay silent when you should speak? Do you dress a certain way only because you want acceptance? Do you post things hoping to be seen in a certain light? Do you abandon your own goals because someone else does not understand them? These are not small questions. They reveal where your power has been leaking away. Every time you hand your life over to someone else's opinion, you step farther from your own center. Inner strength begins with self-respect. Self-respect means you treat your own life as something valuable. It means you do not betray your own standards for a little attention. It means you do not make yourself smaller to fit into spaces that were never meant for your growth. It means you stop begging to be accepted by people who do not even know your full story. Real self-respect is quiet. It does not need to announce itself. It shows up in how you speak to yourself, in how you use your time, in what you tolerate, in what you choose to walk away from. A person with self-respect can stand alone without collapsing. That is a powerful place to live. One practical way to begin is to separate feedback from approval. Feedback is useful when it helps you improve. Approval is emotional when it only tells you that others are pleased. You need feedback from people who are honest and wise. You do not need approval from everyone who crosses your path. Learn to ask a simple question before you care about an opinion. Does this person understand what I am trying to build? Do they have the experience to guide me? Are they speaking from truth or from emotion? This filter can save you from a great deal of confusion. Not every voice deserves equal weight. Not every reaction is wisdom. Not every criticism is a signal to stop. Another practical step is to build private discipline. Private discipline means you do things when nobody is watching. You keep your room in order. You wake up when you said you would. You finish tasks you started. You exercise even when no one cheers. You read when no one asks. You protect your health because your body matters. You keep promises that never become public victories. This matters because self-trust grows in private. If you cannot trust yourself alone, then praise from others will only distract you. But when you consistently act with integrity in private, your confidence grows naturally. You stop needing proof from the outside because you already know who you are becoming. Approval seekers often live in reaction mode. They watch others closely, they compare, they imitate, they adjust themselves based on who seems admired. This creates a restless mind. There is always someone louder, someone prettier, someone more successful, someone getting more attention. If comparison becomes your habit, then contentment disappears. You can never finish measuring yourself against other people because the target keep moving. Inner strength comes from ending that game. It comes from deciding that your life is not a competition for attention. Your life is a responsibility. You are here to build something meaningful with the days given to you. That work is personal. It cannot be outsourced to public opinion. There is also deep freedom in accepting that not everyone will understand you. This truth can feel uncomfortable at first, Many people spend years trying to be fully understood by everyone around them. They explain themselves again and again. They defend every choice. They hope if they just say the right words, the misunderstanding will disappear. But some people are not listening to understand. They are listening to agree with their own view. Some are too distracted. Some are threatened by your growth. Some only know the version of you that made them comfortable. You do not need to win every mind. You need to live with clarity. The desire to be understood by everyone is expensive. It costs peace. It costs time. It costs direction. A strong person accepts that misunderstanding is part of living honestly. When you stop chasing approval, you will notice your emotions becoming more stable. This happens because you stop living at the mercy of other people's responses. A strong inner life does not mean you never feel hurt. It means hurt does not control your identity. It means you can receive praise without becoming dependent on it. It means you can hear correction without falling apart. It means you can experience silence without assuming rejection. It means you no longer turn every social moment into a judgment on your worth. That stability is a gift. It gives your mind room to breathe. It helps you think clearly. It helps you act with patience. It helps you build over time instead of reacting in a rush. One of the clearest signs of inner weakness is constant performance. A person who is always performing is usually not resting in truth. They are acting for an audience. They want to appear important. They want to appear successful. They want to appear loved. They want to appear strong. But appearance is fragile. It requires maintenance. It creates pressure. It leaves no room for real growth because every mistake feels like exposure. When you are always performing, you cannot be fully honest. You cannot learn freely. You cannot make slow progress without feeling embarrassed. Inner strength removes the stage. It allows you to be a work in progress without shame. It lets you build quietly and steadily. Quiet growth is often the most powerful kind. It happens when nobody is applauding and nobody is criticizing. It happens in the early morning before most people are awake. It happens in the small choices that never become stories. It happens when you study, even though your friends are distracted. It happens when you practice a skill long after the excitement has faded. It happens when you save money instead of showing off. It happens when you choose patience instead of drama. It happens when you repair your habits instead of explaining your struggles. Quiet growth may not be glamorous, but it is real. And real growth changes a life more than public display ever can. To build inner strength, you also need to be honest about what weakens you. Some people weaken themselves by seeking too much input. They ask too many people what to do and end up more confused than before. Some weaken themselves by spending too much time on social media and absorbing constant comparison. Some weaken themselves by staying close to people who need them to stay small. Some weaken themselves by avoiding solitude, because silence exposes what they have been ignoring. If you want to grow stronger, then notice what drains you and reduce it. Not everything that is popular is good for you. Not every relationship deserves unlimited access. Not every habit is harmless. Strength often begins with subtraction. You must also learn the discipline of saying no. A weak yes spoken out of fear will cost you more than a respectful no. Many people are not trapped by lack of opportunity. They are trapped by inability to protect their time. Every yes creates a responsibility. Every yes moves energy away from something else. When you say yes to everyone, you often say no to your own growth. Saying no is not selfish when it protects your future. It is a form of maturity. It shows that you understand your life has direction. You are not available to every demand. You are building something that requires care. Approval can also distract you by making you live for the wrong kind of reward. If you get addicted to being praised, then you may stop doing things that matter unless they are noticed. That is dangerous because the most important work in life is often unseen. Caring for your health, developing your mind, building your discipline, reading, planning, saving, learning, praying, reflecting. These things may not earn instant applause, but they shape your future. People who need applause often neglect what is quiet and essential. People who are building themselves understand that the best results are often delayed. The seed does not become a tree overnight. A strong life is grown in layers. There is a simple habit that can change everything. At the end of each day, ask yourself whether you lived by your values or by someone else's mood. Did you speak truthfully? Did you keep your focus? Did you let a comment ruin your peace? Did you choose growth over comfort? Did you do anything today that made you more grounded? This kind of reflection makes you aware of your patterns. Awareness is powerful because you cannot correct what you refuse to see. Many people stay weak, not because they lack intelligence, but because they never examine their habits honestly. Reflection gives you a mirror that approval never can. Another useful practice is to build a life that can stand without constant validation. Create routines that support you even when nobody notices. Make your morning sacred in its own quiet way. Keep your space clean enough to calm your mind. Set limits on the time you give to the opinions of others. Protect hours for learning and work. Write down your goals where you can see them. Track your habits. Celebrate progress privately. These may seem small, but they create structure. Structure creates stability. Stability creates strength. Strength creates freedom. When your days are built well, you do not need outside approval to feel grounded because your own life supports you. The truth is that many people chase approval because they fear loneliness. They think if they stop trying to please others, they will be left with nothing. But solitude is not the enemy. Sometimes solitude is the place where self-respect returns. In quiet moments, you hear your own thoughts clearly. You see what you have been avoiding. You begin to understand what you actually want instead of what other people expect. Some of the strongest decisions in life are made in silence. You do not need a crowd to validate your direction. You need clarity, and clarity is often found when the noise stops. If your heart has been worn down by constant comparison, then be patient with yourself. Changing this pattern does not happen in a single day. A lifetime of approval seeking will not disappear in one morning, but every time you choose truth over performance, you grow stronger. Every time you stop checking for reaction, you reclaim a little peace. Every time you do the work without asking to be seen, you build a deeper kind of confidence. Progress is not always dramatic. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to respond. Sometimes it looks like keeping your head down and continuing. Sometimes it looks like leaving the room where your peace cannot survive. These are victories too. You may discover that once you stop chasing approval, some people do not know how to relate to you anymore. That can happen. When you become more grounded, not everyone will like the change, because your old habits may have made you easier to manage. That does not mean you made a mistake. It may mean you are becoming more honest. A person who grows stronger will not always remain familiar to those who preferred them dependent. This can be painful, but it is part of becoming real. Do not return to old weakness just to stay comfortable in old relationships. Growth sometimes requires that you outgrow patterns that once felt safe. As your inner strength grows, you will notice a shift in how you see success. Success will stop looking like praise and start looking like peace. It will stop looking like being admired and start looking like being disciplined. It will stop looking like being talked about and start looking like being useful. It will stop looking like being accepted by everyone and start looking like being respected by yourself. That shift is important because it makes your life more stable. When success is based on inner growth, it cannot be easily taken from you. Outside approval can disappear. Inner strength stays with you and travels with you everywhere. There is dignity in becoming the kind of person who does not need to announce every improvement. There is dignity in being strong enough to keep your progress private. There is dignity in no longer asking the world to reassure you every few hours. That dignity comes from knowing you are building a character that can hold weight. You are learning to carry your own life. You are becoming someone who can be trusted with responsibility. That is a profound change. It affects your work. It affects your relationships. It affects your decisions. It affects the way you treat your future. The journey away from approval and toward inner strength is not about becoming unreachable. It is about becoming centered. You can still care. You can still listen. You can still love people. But you will no longer hand them the power to decide your worth. You will no longer let every opinion enter your heart. You will no longer live from reaction. You will no longer build your identity from the outside in. Instead, you will build from the inside out. Slowly, carefully, honestly. This is how a solid life is made. When you wake up tomorrow, there will be a choice waiting for you. You can spend the day searching for reactions, or you can spend the day strengthening yourself. You can ask how others see you, or you can ask what kind of person you are becoming. You can carry your attention outward, or you can bring it back home to your own work. Choose the second path more often. Not because people do not matter, but because your life matters too much to be left in other people's hands. Build yourself. Guard your peace. Keep your word. Do the work quietly. Let your life become the proof. Chapter 2. Accept responsibility and take full control of your life. There comes a moment in life when the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Things are not where they should be. Time has passed. Opportunities were missed. Habits formed slowly, and now they feel heavy. It is easy to look around and find reasons. People did not support you. Circumstances were not fair. Timing was wrong. You were not given enough guidance. All of that may carry some truth. Life is not always balanced. But there is a deeper truth that changes everything when you accept it fully. Your life moves in the direction of your decisions. What you do each day matters more than what has happened before. Responsibility is not a burden placed on you by others. It is a power that you either claim or avoid. Avoiding responsibility feels comfortable at first. It protects your ego. It allows you to explain failure without facing it. It gives you space to delay action, but over time it weakens you. When you blame everything outside yourself, you give away control. You start to believe that your life is shaped by forces you cannot influence. That belief creates hesitation. It builds doubt. It keeps you waiting instead of acting. Days pass with small regrets that slowly grow into something heavier. You begin to feel stuck, not because change is impossible, but because you have not taken ownership of the direction you are going. Accepting responsibility is a turning point. It does not mean blaming yourself for everything that has ever gone wrong. It means recognizing that from this moment forward, your choices will shape what comes next. It means stepping into your life as an active participant instead of a passive observer. When you accept responsibility, you stop asking why things happened and start asking what you can do now. That shift is simple, but it changes your entire mindset. It brings your focus back to action. It removes excuses. It creates momentum. A responsible mind is a focused mind. It does not waste time replaying past mistakes with regret. It studies them with honesty and moves forward with clarity. It does not wait for perfect conditions. It works with what is available. It does not expect motivation to arrive first. It begins and builds energy through action. This kind of thinking is steady. It is not emotional or reactive. It is grounded in reality. You deal with what is in front of you and do your best with it. That approach creates strength because it trains you to handle life directly instead of avoiding it. One of the most practical ways to take control is to look closely at your daily habits. Your habits are the structure of your life. They show where your time goes. They reveal your priorities without needing explanation. If your habits are weak, your results will reflect that. If your habits are strong, your progress becomes steady. Responsibility means you no longer ignore this connection. You begin to observe your routines honestly. You ask yourself where your time is being lost. You notice what you do when you feel bored, stressed, or tired. These moments matter because they shape your behavior more than big plans ever will. Start by taking control of your mornings. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Waking up late, rushing, and reacting to messages creates a scattered mind. Waking up with intention creates direction. You do not need a complex system. Keep it simple. Wake up at a consistent time. Give yourself a few minutes of quiet before engaging with the outside world. Drink water, move your body, review what needs to be done. This is not about perfection. It is about starting your day with awareness instead of confusion. That alone builds a sense of control. Responsibility also shows in how you manage your time. Time is limited. Everyone has the same number of hours, but not everyone uses them wisely. When you accept responsibility, you stop saying you have no time. Instead, you start asking where your time is going. Track your day for a short period. Notice how much time is spent on distractions. Notice how often you delay tasks that matter. Awareness leads to adjustment. You begin to protect your time. You reduce activities that do not support your growth. You focus on what moves your life forward. This is how control begins to take shape. Another important area is your reactions. Life will test you. People will act in ways you do not expect. Situations will not always go your way. You cannot control everything that happens, but you can control how you respond. This is one of the clearest forms of responsibility. When something goes wrong, the easy path is to react with frustration. The stronger path is to pause and choose your response carefully. This does not mean suppressing emotion. It means not letting emotion decide your next move. A calm response creates better outcomes. It keeps your mind clear. It prevents small problems from becoming larger ones. There is also a strong connection between responsibility and honesty. You cannot take control of your life if you are not honest with yourself. This means facing uncomfortable truths. You may need to admit that you have been avoiding work. You may need to accept that certain habits are holding you back. You may need to recognize that some relationships are not helping you grow. Honesty can feel difficult, but it is necessary. Without it, you build your life on false ideas. With it, you create a clear path for change. You see what needs to be done and you begin to act. Responsibility is closely tied to discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what is necessary even when it is not convenient. It is easy to take control when you feel motivated. It is harder when you feel tired or distracted. This is where discipline matters. It keeps you moving when emotion fades. It helps you stay consistent. It builds trust in yourself. Each time you follow through on a task, you strengthen your sense of control. Each time you avoid it, you weaken that sense. The difference may seem small in the moment, but over time it becomes significant. Taking responsibility also means setting clear boundaries. You cannot control your life if you allow others to control your time and energy. This does not mean rejecting people. It means being clear about what you can and cannot give. You learn to say no when necessary. You protect your priorities. You avoid overcommitting. Boundaries create space for growth. They allow you to focus on what matters without constant interruption. This is not selfish. It is practical. Without boundaries, your attention becomes scattered and your progress slows. Another key part of control is decision-making. Many people stay stuck because they avoid making decisions. They wait for certainty. They hope for perfect conditions. But clarity often comes after action, not before. When you take responsibility, you begin to make decisions with the information you have. You accept that not every choice will be perfect. You learn from outcomes and adjust. This process builds confidence. You trust yourself more because you see that you can handle results, whether they are good or not. Your environment also plays a role in how much control you have. The space you live in affects your focus. A disorganized environment creates distraction. A clean and simple space supports clarity. Take time to organize your surroundings. Remove things that do not serve a purpose. Keep what helps you stay focused. This may seem like a small step, but it has a strong effect on your mindset. A controlled environment supports a controlled mind. Responsibility extends to your health as well. Your body is part of your ability to take action. When you neglect it, your energy drops. Your focus weakens, your mood becomes unstable. Taking control means caring for your physical state. Eat food that supports your energy, move your body regularly, rest when needed. These are basic actions, but they create a strong foundation. Without health, progress becomes harder. There is also a mental aspect to responsibility. You must learn to guide your thoughts. Negative thinking can limit your actions. It can create doubt. It can stop you before you even begin. Taking control means noticing these thoughts and questioning them. Ask yourself if they are useful. Ask if they are based on fact or fear. Replace them with more balanced thinking. This does not mean forcing positivity. It means choosing thoughts that support action instead of stopping it. One powerful practice is to end each day with a simple review. Look at what you did. Notice where you stayed focused and where you lost control. Do not judge yourself harshly. Use this time to learn. Ask what you can improve tomorrow. This daily reflection builds awareness. It helps you correct small mistakes before they grow. It keeps you connected to your progress. Accepting responsibility also changes how you view failure. Failure is not something to avoid at all costs. It is part of growth. When you take control, you stop seeing failure as proof that you cannot succeed. You see it as feedback. You ask what went wrong and how to improve. This mindset keeps you moving forward. It removes the fear that often holds people back. There will be moments when responsibility feels heavy. You may wish for easier conditions. You may feel tired of carrying the weight of your choices. In those moments, remember that this weight is also your freedom. When you are responsible, you are not waiting for change. You are creating it. You are not dependent on others to move forward. You are building your own path. That is a powerful position to be in. Over time, as you continue to take responsibility, you will notice a shift in your life. Your decisions will become clearer. Your actions will become more consistent. Your confidence will grow. Not because everything is perfect, but because you know you can handle what comes your way. You will trust yourself more. You will rely less on external factors. You will feel a sense of control that was not there before. This process does not require perfection. It requires commitment. Small steps taken daily create lasting change. Each choice matters. Each action builds momentum. Stay focused on what you can control. Let go of what you cannot. Keep moving forward with intention. Accept the reality of your situation and work with it. Your life is shaped by what you choose to do next, not by what happened yesterday, not by what others think, not by what feels easy, by what you decide and follow through on. Accept that responsibility fully, hold it firmly, use it to guide your actions, build your days with care, protect your time, strengthen your habits, stay honest with yourself, act with discipline. When you do this consistently, you no longer feel lost. You no longer wait for permission. You move with purpose. You act with clarity. You take control of your direction. And in that control, you begin to build a life that reflects your effort, your values, and your commitment to growth. Chapter 3. Build daily discipline and follow through without excuses. Discipline is not loud. It does not ask for attention. It does not depend on how you feel in the moment. It shows up in quiet decisions that repeat day after day. Most people wait until they feel ready, but readiness is often an excuse that hides hesitation. Action creates readiness. When you begin without waiting for the perfect mood, you train your mind to follow your decisions instead of your emotions. That shift changes everything because it moves you from reacting to leading your own life. There is a simple truth that many ignore. What you do daily shapes who you become. Not what you plan, not what you talk about, not what you wish for. The small actions repeated every day carry more weight than occasional bursts of effort. Discipline is built through those repeated actions. It is not created in one moment of inspiration. It is formed in the routine of showing up even when nothing feels exciting. When you understand this, you stop chasing motivation and start building systems that guide your behavior. The first step is to remove the idea that discipline must feel strong or intense. Discipline is steady. It is often quiet and simple. It looks like getting out of bed when the alarm rings. It looks like completing a task without delay. It looks like doing what needs to be done without adding unnecessary drama. When you expect discipline to feel powerful, you will often feel disappointed. When you accept that it is calm and consistent, you can practice it more easily. Excuses are the main barrier to discipline. They appear reasonable in the moment. You feel tired. You feel distracted. You think you will do it later. You convince yourself that skipping once does not matter. But each excuse weakens your ability to follow through. It trains your mind to avoid effort. Over time, this becomes a pattern that is hard to break. To build discipline, you must become aware of your excuses and stop negotiating with them. The moment you notice an excuse, act before it grows stronger. Action cuts through hesitation. A practical way to begin is to reduce the size of your tasks. Many people fail because they set goals that are too large for their current habits. When the task feels overwhelming, the mind searches for an escape. Instead of forcing large changes, focus on small actions that you can complete daily. If you want to exercise, start with a short session. If you want to read, begin with a few pages. If you want to improve a skill, practice for a limited time. The key is consistency. Once the habit is established, you can increase the effort gradually. Your environment plays a strong role in your ability to stay disciplined. A space filled with distractions makes it harder to focus. A clear and organized environment supports your attention. Remove items that pull you away from your tasks. Keep what you need within reach. Arrange your space in a way that encourages action. This does not require perfection. It requires intention. When your surroundings support your goals, discipline becomes easier to maintain. Another important factor is clarity. You must know what needs to be done before the day begins. When you start your day without a plan, you rely on impulse. Impulse often leads to distraction. Take a few minutes to decide your main tasks. Keep the list simple and realistic. Focus on what matters most. When you have a clear direction, it becomes easier to act without delay. Clarity removes confusion and allows you to move forward with purpose. Discipline also requires structure. Set specific times for important activities. Do not leave everything to chance. When you assign a time to a task, you create a commitment. This reduces the need to decide in the moment. For example, if you plan to work on a project at a certain hour, treat that time as fixed. Show up and begin. Even if the effort feels slow, continue. The act of starting is often the hardest part. Once you begin, momentum builds naturally. There will be days when you do not feel like following your plan. This is where discipline proves its value. You must learn to act without waiting for comfort. Comfort often comes after action, not before when you feel resistance. Focus on the next small step. Do not think about the entire task. Break it down and begin with something simple. This approach reduces pressure and makes it easier to continue. Accountability can also support your discipline. Keep track of your actions. Write down what you complete each day. This creates a record of your effort. It allows you to see patterns in your behavior. When you notice gaps, you can adjust. When you see progress, you feel encouraged to continue. Accountability is not about judgment, it is about awareness. It keeps you connected to your goals. Consistency builds trust in yourself. Each time you follow through, you strengthen your belief in your ability to act. This belief is important because it reduces doubt. When you trust yourself, you spend less time questioning your decisions. You move with more certainty. This does not mean you will always succeed. It means you will continue to act despite challenges. It is also important to manage your energy. Discipline becomes difficult when you are exhausted. Pay attention to your rest. Ensure that you get enough sleep. Take short breaks when needed. Eat in a way that supports your energy levels. These basic actions create a stable foundation. Without energy, even simple tasks feel heavy. With proper care, your ability to stay consistent improves. Discipline is closely linked to focus. In a world filled with constant distractions, maintaining attention is a challenge. Limit the number of tasks you handle at once. Work on one thing at a time. Remove notifications that interrupt your flow. Create periods where you work without interruption. Even short periods of focused effort can produce strong results. Focus allows you to complete tasks more efficiently and reduces the temptation to quit. Another key aspect is patience. Results do not appear immediately. When you start a new habit, progress may feel slow. This can lead to frustration. Discipline requires you to continue despite this feeling. Trust the process. Understand that small actions accumulate over time. What seems insignificant today can lead to meaningful change in the future. Patience keeps you steady when progress is not visible. You must also learn to recover quickly from mistakes. There will be days when you miss a task or lose focus. Do not allow one mistake to turn into a pattern. A missed day does not define your discipline. What matters is how you respond. Return to your routine as soon as possible. Avoid negative self-talk. Focus on the next action. This approach prevents small setbacks from becoming larger problems. Your mindset plays a crucial role in discipline. View your tasks as responsibilities rather than burdens. When you see them as part of your growth, they become more meaningful. This perspective reduces resistance. It helps you approach your work with a sense of purpose. Purpose strengthens your commitment and makes it easier to follow through. It is also helpful to remove unnecessary choices. Too many options can lead to delay. Simplify your routine. Decide in advance what you will wear, what you will eat, and what you will focus on. This reduces decision fatigue and allows you to conserve energy for important tasks. Simplicity supports discipline by removing obstacles. Discipline grows through repetition. Each day you practice it, it becomes more natural. What once felt difficult becomes part of your routine. This is how habits form. Over time, you rely less on effort and more on structure. This shift makes it easier to maintain consistency even during busy periods. You may not always see immediate rewards for your discipline. The benefits often appear gradually. Improved focus, better results, and a stronger sense of control develop over time. Stay committed to the process. Trust that your efforts are building something valuable. The absence of instant results does not mean your work is ineffective. There is a quiet confidence that comes from consistent action. It is not based on external recognition. It comes from knowing that you are doing what needs to be done. This confidence supports your growth. It allows you to face challenges with a steady mind. It reduces the need for approval because your actions provide their own validation. Discipline also influences other areas of your life. When you are consistent in one area, it often carries over to others. You become more organized, more focused, and more reliable. This creates a positive cycle. Each improvement supports the next. Over time, your overall quality of life improves. The path to discipline is not complex, but it requires commitment. Begin with small steps. Stay consistent. Remove excuses. Focus on action. Protect your time and energy. Adjust when needed. Continue even when it feels difficult. These principles guide your progress. Your daily actions are the foundation of your future. Each choice matters. Each effort builds momentum. Stay steady in your approach. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Work with what you have. Keep moving forward with intention. When you build discipline and follow through without excuses, you create a life that reflects your effort. You move with clarity. You act with purpose. You develop a strong sense of control. This is not achieved in one moment. It is built day by day through consistent action. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Let your actions define your path. Chapter 4. Focus on progress and ignore distractions from other people. Progress is quiet and steady while distraction is loud and constant. One builds your life step by step, and the other pulls your attention in every direction. Most people struggle not because they lack ability, but because they allow their focus to be divided by what others are doing, saying, and expecting. When your attention is scattered, your effort weakens. When your effort weakens, your results slow down. This creates frustration and doubt. The solution is not to work harder in a chaotic way, but to protect your focus and commit to steady progress. Your life improves when you learn to value progress over attention. Attention can feel rewarding for a short time, but it does not always lead to growth. Progress often feels slow and sometimes unnoticed, but it builds something real. The challenge is that distractions are designed to pull you away from what matters. They come in many forms. Other people's opinions, social media updates, comparisons, unnecessary conversations, noise that fills your mind without adding value. If you allow these distractions to control your focus, you will spend more time reacting than building. Start by understanding what progress means for you. Progress is not about perfection. It is about moving forward in a consistent way. It is about improving your skills, your habits, and your mindset over time. It is about doing something today that makes tomorrow easier. When you define progress clearly, you give your actions direction. Without direction, it is easy to be pulled into activities that feel urgent but are not important. One of the most practical ways to stay focused is to set clear priorities. You cannot do everything at once. Trying to do so leads to confusion and wasted energy. Choose a few areas that matter most in your life right now. These could be your work, your health, your learning, or a specific project. Focus your effort on these areas. When something outside these priorities demands your attention, pause and ask if it truly supports your progress. If it does not, then reduce the time you give to it. Distractions from other people often come in the form of opinions. Everyone has something to say. Some advice may be helpful, but much of it is based on personal bias or limited understanding. When you listen to too many voices, you lose clarity. You start to question your direction. You adjust your plans too often. This slows your progress. To avoid this, choose carefully whose opinions you consider. Seek input from people who have experience and understanding in the areas you are working on. Limit exposure to opinions that create confusion without offering value. Comparison is another major distraction. It is easy to look at others and measure your progress against theirs. This habit can create pressure and dissatisfaction. You may feel behind even when you are improving. You may rush your process in an attempt to catch up. This often leads to mistakes and burnout. Instead of comparing, focus on your own path. Measure your progress against your past performance. Ask if you are improving from where you started. This keeps your attention on growth rather than competition. Your environment plays a role in your ability to stay focused. Surround yourself with conditions that support your work. Reduce noise where possible. Create a space where you can concentrate. This does not require perfection. It requires intention. Even small changes can make a difference. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Keep your workspace simple. These actions help you maintain attention on what matters. Time management is closely linked to focus. Plan your day in a way that allows you to work without constant interruption. Set specific periods for focused effort. During these periods, avoid checking messages or engaging in unrelated activities. Even short blocks of uninterrupted work can lead to significant progress. The key is consistency. When you repeat this practice daily, your ability to focus improves. It is also important to recognize that not all distractions are external. Some come from within, thoughts that lead you away from your tasks, doubts that make you hesitate, urges to switch activities. When these arise, notice them without acting immediately. Bring your attention back to your work. This is a skill that improves with practice. The more you redirect your focus, the stronger your concentration becomes. Another useful approach is to break your work into smaller steps. Large tasks can feel overwhelming, and this often leads to distraction. When you divide a task into manageable parts, it becomes easier to stay engaged. Complete one step at a time. This creates a sense of progress which keeps you motivated. Each completed step builds momentum. People may try to pull your attention away from your goals. Sometimes this happens without intention. Conversations that extend longer than needed. Requests that do not align with your priorities. social pressure to engage in activities that do not support your growth. You must learn to manage these situations with clarity. Be respectful but firm, protect your time, explain your focus when necessary. Most people will understand. Those who do not are not responsible for your progress. There will be moments when ignoring distractions feels uncomfortable. You may worry about missing out. You may feel pressure to respond immediately. You may think you are being distant. Understand that focus requires trade-offs. You cannot give equal attention to everything. Choosing progress means accepting that some opportunities and interactions will be limited. This is not a loss. It is a decision to invest in what matters most. Consistency is what turns focus into results. One day of concentrated effort is helpful but not enough. Progress requires repeated action. Show up daily and do the work. Even when the results are not immediate, continue. Trust that each effort adds to your growth. Over time, these small gains accumulate and create significant change. It is helpful to review your progress regularly. Take time to look at what you have accomplished. Notice improvements. Identify areas that need adjustment. This reflection keeps you aligned with your goals. It also reinforces the value of staying focused. When you see the results of your effort, you are more likely to continue. Your mindset influences your ability to ignore distractions. When you value your time and effort, you are less likely to waste them. Remind yourself why your goals matter. Connect your daily actions to a larger purpose. This creates motivation that is not dependent on external factors. It keeps you grounded in your work. There is strength in being selective with your attention. Not everything deserves your time. Not every message requires an immediate response. Not every opinion needs to be considered. By choosing where to focus, you take control of your progress. This control leads to better results and a clearer sense of direction. You may notice that as you become more focused, some people react differently. They may question your priorities. They may expect you to engage as before. Stay calm and clear in your approach. You are responsible for your growth. Maintain respect, but do not compromise your direction. Over time, your results will speak for themselves. Focus is not about isolation. It is about intentional engagement. You can still connect with others while protecting your priorities. Schedule time for social interaction. Be present during these moments. Then return to your work with full attention. Balance allows you to maintain relationships without losing progress. Progress often requires patience. There will be periods where results seem slow. During these times, distractions can feel more appealing. Stay committed to your process. Understand that growth is not always visible in the short term. Trust your effort. Continue working with consistency. Another important aspect is learning to let go of what does not serve your goals. This includes habits, activities, and even certain conversations. Evaluate where your time goes. Remove or reduce what does not contribute to your progress. This creates space for more meaningful work. Your energy is a valuable resource. Manage it wisely. Avoid activities that drain you without benefit. Rest when needed. Maintain a routine that supports your focus. Energy and attention work together. When both are managed well, your productivity improves. Focus on progress and ignore distractions is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice. Each day you choose where to direct your attention. Each choice shapes your results. Stay aware of this process. Adjust when needed. Continue refining your approach. As you build this habit, you will notice changes in your life. Your work becomes more effective. Your time feels more controlled. Your goals become clearer. This is the result of consistent focus. It is not based on luck. It is built through deliberate action. Keep your attention on what moves you forward. Limit the influence of distractions. Stay committed to your path. Progress may be quiet, but it is powerful. Over time, it leads to meaningful results. Maintain your focus and continue building step by step. Chapter 5. Strengthen your mindset and stay calm under pressure. Pressure is part of life. It shows up when expectations rise, when time is limited, when outcomes matter, and when things do not go as planned. Some people break under pressure because their mind becomes overwhelmed. Others remain steady because they have trained themselves to handle difficult moments with clarity. The difference is not talent or luck. The difference is mindset. A strong mindset allows you to stay calm, think clearly, and act with control even when the situation feels intense. Calmness is not the absence of stress. It is the ability to manage it without losing direction. When pressure builds, your thoughts can speed up. Your body may react with tension. Your attention may shift from what needs to be done to what could go wrong. If you allow these reactions to take over, your decisions become less effective. Strengthening your mindset means learning how to guide your response in these moments. The first step is awareness. Notice how you react when pressure appears. Do you rush your actions? Do you overthink? Do you avoid the situation? Understanding your pattern is important because it shows where you need to improve. Without awareness, reactions become automatic. With awareness, you can pause and choose a better response. Breathing is a simple but powerful tool. When pressure rises, your breathing often becomes shallow and fast. This increases tension and makes it harder to think clearly. Slow and steady breathing helps your body return to a balanced state. Take a few deep breaths. Focus on the rhythm. This creates a short pause that allows your mind to settle. It gives you space to think before acting. Another key element is controlling your thoughts. Under pressure, the mind often creates negative scenarios. You may imagine failure or focus on what could go wrong. These thoughts increase stress and reduce confidence. Instead of accepting them, question them. Ask if they are based on fact or fear. Replace them with thoughts that support action. Focus on what you can do next. This keeps your attention on solutions rather than problems. Preparation plays a major role in staying calm. When you are prepared, you have a clear understanding of what needs to be done. This reduces uncertainty. Spend time developing your skills. Practice regularly. Review your plans. The more familiar you are with your tasks, the easier it becomes to handle pressure. Preparation builds confidence because you know you have done the work. It is also important to accept that not everything will go perfectly. Expecting perfect outcomes creates unnecessary stress. When things do not match your expectations, frustration increases. A strong mindset accepts that challenges are part of the process. This acceptance allows you to adapt instead of reacting emotionally. You focus on adjusting your actions rather than resisting reality. Your focus should remain on what you can control. Under pressure, it is easy to think about factors outside your influence. This wastes energy and creates distraction. Bring your attention back to your actions. Ask what step you can take right now. This keeps you grounded. It prevents your mind from drifting into unproductive areas. Building resilience is essential for handling pressure. Resilience is the ability to recover from difficulty and continue moving forward. It develops through experience. Each time you face a challenge and work through it, your resilience grows. Do not avoid difficult situations. Approach them as opportunities to strengthen your mindset. Over time, what once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. Physical state also affects your mental strength. When your body is tense or tired, your ability to stay calm decreases. Regular exercise helps reduce stress and improves focus. Proper rest allows your mind to function clearly. Pay attention to your physical condition. It supports your ability to handle pressure effectively. Another useful approach is to simplify your thinking during stressful moments. Complex thoughts can increase confusion. Focus on clear and direct actions. Break the situation into smaller parts. Address one part at a time. This reduces the feeling of being overwhelmed. It allows you to make steady progress even in difficult conditions. Confidence is built through action. Each time you handle pressure with control, you strengthen your belief in your ability. This belief makes future challenges easier to face. Confidence does not come from avoiding difficulty. It comes from engaging with it and learning how to manage it. It is also important to manage your expectations of yourself. High standards can be useful, but unrealistic expectations create unnecessary pressure. Set goals that challenge you but remain achievable. This balance keeps you motivated without causing excessive stress. Adjust your expectations based on your progress and experience. Your environment can influence how you respond to pressure. Surround yourself with people who remain calm and focused. Their behavior can support your mindset. Limit exposure to negativity or panic. A stable environment helps you maintain control during challenging moments. Practice is essential for strengthening your mindset. You can simulate pressure in controlled situations. Set time limits for tasks. Challenge yourself with difficult problems. This prepares you for real situations. The more you practice, the more familiar pressure becomes. Familiarity reduces fear and increases confidence. Reflection is another important tool. After experiencing a high-pressure situation, take time to review your response. Identify what worked well and what can be improved. This learning process helps you refine your approach. It ensures that each experience contributes to your growth. Emotional control is a key part of staying calm. Emotions are natural, but they should not dictate your actions. When you feel stress or frustration, acknowledge it without letting it take over. Return your focus to your task. This balance allows you to remain effective even when emotions are present. Patience is also important. Pressure often creates a sense of urgency that leads to rushed decisions. Slow down your thinking. Take the time to assess the situation. Careful decisions lead to better outcomes. Patience helps you maintain accuracy and avoid mistakes. Discipline supports your mindset. When you follow a routine and maintain consistent habits, your mind becomes more stable. Discipline reduces uncertainty because you know what to expect from yourself. This stability helps you remain calm under pressure. You must also learn to detach from outcomes to some extent. Focus on your effort rather than the result. Results are influenced by many factors. Effort is within your control. When you concentrate on doing your best, pressure becomes more manageable. You are no longer overwhelmed by the need for a specific outcome. There will be moments when pressure feels intense. In those moments, return to simple principles. Breathe, focus on one step. Stay aware of your thoughts, act with control. These basic actions can guide you through complex situations. Over time, as you continue to practice these habits, your mindset becomes stronger. You respond to pressure with clarity instead of confusion. You remain steady when others become overwhelmed. This ability is valuable in all areas of life. It improves your performance and your overall well-being. Strengthening your mindset is a continuous process. It requires consistent effort and attention. Each day provides opportunities to practice. Use them. Stay committed to your growth. Maintain awareness of your reactions. Adjust your approach as needed. When you develop a strong mindset and remain calm under pressure, you gain a sense of control over your life. Challenges no longer feel like threats. They become situations you can manage. This shift changes how you experience life. It allows you to move forward with confidence and stability. Keep your focus on growth. Continue building your ability to stay calm. Practice regularly. Learn from each experience. Over time, your mindset will become a reliable strength that supports you in every situation. Chapter 6. Invest time in learning skills that improve your future. A future is not built by wishful thinking. It is built by skill. The people who move forward in life are often not the ones who speak the most or dream the loudest. They are the ones who learn how to do useful things well. They are the ones who stay curious long enough to grow. They are the ones who understand that time spent learning is never wasted. Every skill you build gives you more options. It gives you more confidence. It gives you more control over your path. When you invest time in learning skills that improve your future, you stop depending on luck and start creating real value. Many people wait for their life to improve before they start learning seriously. They think they will study when life becomes easier. They think they will build new abilities when they have more free time. But free time rarely appears in the exact shape people imagine. Life stays busy, responsibility continue, distractions keep coming. That is why learning must become a priority, not a spare activity. If you keep delaying your growth, your future stays in the hands of whatever happens around you. If you make learning part of your routine, you begin shaping that future with intention. The most practical place to begin is with honesty. Ask yourself what skills would genuinely make your life stronger. Do not choose based only on what looks impressive. Choose based on what would help you work better, think better, earn better, communicate better, or solve problems better. A useful skill is any ability that increases your value and expands your freedom. It may be writing, speaking, sales, coding, design, teaching, problem-solving, communication, organization, language learning, financial literacy, or a trade. The exact skill matters less than the habit of building one steadily. Skill growth works best when you respect the process. A skill is not something you collect instantly. It is something you develop through repetition and attention. At first, progress may feel slow. That is normal. Every ability begins with small steps that feel awkward and unfinished. You do not need to be great on the first day. You need to begin and remain committed long enough for improvement to appear. The people who quit too early never see how much can change with time. The ones who stay in the process discover that small lessons add up into real strength. One of the best ways to learn is to focus on one skill at a time. Trying to master everything at once creates confusion. It spreads your attention too thin. You end up knowing a little about many things, but becoming strong at none. Pick one important skill and give it steady attention. Build a simple routine around it. Study it, practice it, review your mistakes, correct them, then repeat. This approach is slower than chasing 10 interests at once, but it creates depth. Depth is what helps you stand out and move forward. Learning should be active, not passive. Reading about a skill is helpful, but reading alone is not enough. Watching others is useful, but watching alone is not enough. You grow when you try, fail, adjust, and try again. Active learning means applying what you study as soon as possible. If you are learning communication, speak more clearly in daily conversations. If you are learning writing, write often. If you are learning money management, track your spending. If you are learning a technical skill, practice with real tasks. This turns knowledge into ability. Knowledge without use fades. Knowledge used consistently becomes power. A strong future also depends on learning how to learn. This is a skill many people overlook. It means knowing how to stay focused, how to take notes, how to ask better questions, how to review information, and how to reflect on mistakes. If you know how to learn, you can keep growing in any season of life. You do not become trapped by one job or one identity. You remain adaptable. That matters because the world changes quickly. New tools appear. Old methods shift. Industries evolve. The person who keeps learning stays useful. The person who stops learning becomes stuck. Time is one of your most important investments. You may not always have money to spare, but you almost always have some control over your time. The question is whether you will use it carelessly or wisely. 1 hour spent learning each day may seem small, but over months it becomes powerful. 20 minutes of focused practice is better than a long session filled with distraction. Consistency matters more than intensity. Protect a block of time for your growth. Treat it as seriously as any appointment. This is how learning becomes a habit instead of a rare event. You should also learn to remove the fear of looking inexperienced. Many people delay learning because they do not want to feel foolish at the beginning. They want to appear skilled before they have done the work. That mindset slows progress. Every expert was once a beginner. Every strong ability started with awkward attempts. Feeling uncomfortable at the start is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are entering new territory. Stay humble enough to learn and strong enough to continue. There is nothing embarrassing about being in training. The embarrassment comes from refusing to grow. Another important habit is to connect learning with purpose. Skills become easier to pursue when you know why they matter. Ask yourself how this ability will improve your life. How will it help you serve others? How will it increase your confidence? How will it make your future more stable? A clear reason gives energy to your effort. It keeps you going when the initial excitement disappears. Purpose makes learning feel meaningful instead of random. It is wise to study people who have already built the abilities you want. Watch how they work, notice their habits, observe their standards. Not to compare yourself in a harmful way, but to understand what consistent effort looks like in real life. You can learn a great deal by paying attention to the methods of those who are ahead of you. Success often has patterns. When you study those patterns carefully, you save time and avoid unnecessary mistakes. The future rewards those who prepare before the pressure arrives. When a difficult situation shows up, people who have built useful skills respond with more confidence. They can adapt. They can think clearly, they can offer value. They are not forced to depend on others for every answer. That independence creates strength. It gives you more freedom in your work and more stability in your life. The more capable you become, the less fragile your future feels. There is also a quiet dignity in becoming useful. Useful people are not always the loudest. They may not receive instant attention, but they often create lasting impact because they solve real problems. They bring value where it is needed. They make life easier for others. They earn trust through competence. That is a far better position than simply looking impressive for a short moment. When you learn skills that improve your future, you are not just helping yourself. You are becoming someone who can contribute with confidence and purpose. Learning should also remain connected to discipline. There will be days when you do not feel interested. There will be moments when progress seems slow. In those times, return to the routine. Do the work anyway. You do not need to feel inspired every day. You need a method that keeps you moving. Discipline makes learning sustainable. It prevents you from depending on mood. This is important because future success rarely belongs to those who only work when they feel excited. As your skills improve, your self-respect grows with them. You start to trust your effort. You start to see your own potential more clearly. You become less likely to waste time on things that do not help you grow. You begin to understand that your future is not a mystery waiting to happen. It is something you are shaping through repeated decisions. That understanding changes the way you live. You become more deliberate, more patient, more serious about what matters. There is no rush that replaces steady learning. There is no shortcut that can fully replace practiced ability. Every hour spent building a valuable skill is an hour spent investing in a stronger future. Keep your goals practical. Keep your effort consistent. Keep your mind open. Keep learning even when the progress feels small. Small progress becomes real progress when it continues long enough. When you choose to invest time in learning skills that improve your future, you are making a serious decision about the kind of life you want. You are choosing growth over comfort. You are choosing ability over wishful thinking. You are choosing long-term strength over temporary distraction. That choice will not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Each skill you build becomes part of your foundation. Each lesson makes you stronger. Each practice session prepares you for a better future. Keep learning, keep growing. Keep becoming more capable than you were yesterday. Chapter 7. Protect your energy and limit contact with negative influences. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It shapes how you think, how you act, how you respond, and how you build your life. When your energy is clear and steady, your decisions improve. Your focus becomes stronger. Your effort becomes more effective. When your energy is drained, everything feels heavier. Simple tasks feel difficult. Your patience becomes thin. Your thinking becomes unclear. Protecting your energy is not a luxury. It is a necessity if you want to grow and stay consistent. Many people lose energy without realizing it. It does not always come from hard work. It often comes from what you allow into your daily life. Conversations that bring tension, environments that create stress, habits that waste time, thoughts that repeat without purpose. These small drains add up. Over time, they reduce your ability to move forward. If you do not pay attention, you can spend most of your day reacting to things that do not help you grow. One of the biggest drains on energy is negative influence. This can come from people, environments, or even information. Negative influence is anything that weakens your mindset, lowers your standards, or distracts you from your goals. It may not always be obvious. Sometimes it appears as casual conversation. Sometimes it feels normal because it is familiar. But if it leaves you feeling tired, doubtful, or unfocused, it is affecting your energy. You need to become aware of what affects you. Notice how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you feel encouraged or drained? Do you feel focused or distracted? Do you feel motivated or discouraged? Your emotional response gives you clear information. Pay attention to it. This awareness helps you decide what to limit and what to keep. Limiting contact with negative influences does not mean cutting everyone out of your life. It means being selective with your time and attention. Not every relationship requires the same level of access. Some people can remain in your life with clear boundaries. Others may need more distance. This decision should be based on how the interaction affects your growth and your peace. Boundaries are essential. Without them, your time and energy become open to constant interruption. A boundary is a clear limit that protects your focus. It can be as simple as reducing the time spent in unproductive conversations. It can mean saying no to activities that do not support your goals. It can involve limiting exposure to negative discussions. Setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, but it becomes easier with practice. It is a form of self-respect. You also need to manage the information you consume. The content you watch, read, and listen to shapes your mindset. Constant exposure to negative news, arguments, or unproductive content can affect your thinking. It can create unnecessary stress. It can reduce your ability to stay focused. Choose information that supports your growth. Limit content that adds noise without value. This simple change can improve your mental clarity. Your daily habits also influence your energy. Poor routines can drain you without obvious signs. Irregular sleep, lack of movement, and disorganized schedules all affect how you feel. Build habits that support your energy. Sleep at consistent times. Move your body regularly. Keep your routine simple and structured. These actions create a stable foundation for your day. Another important aspect is learning to step back from unnecessary conflict. Arguments that do not lead to solutions only consume energy. They create tension and distract you from your priorities. Not every situation requires your involvement. Choose carefully where you invest your attention. Silence can often protect your energy more effectively than reacting. You should also be mindful of your internal dialogue. Negative self-talk can be just as draining as external influence. Thoughts that repeat doubt or fear reduce your confidence. They make tasks feel more difficult than they are. When you notice this pattern, interrupt it. Replace it with thoughts that support action. Focus on what you can do instead of what might go wrong. This shift helps you maintain a stronger mindset. Rest is another key factor in protecting energy. Continuous activity without recovery leads to exhaustion. Your mind and body need time to reset. Schedule breaks during your day. Allow yourself time to recover after intense effort. Rest is not a sign of weakness. It is a necessary part of maintaining consistent performance. It is also helpful to simplify your life where possible. Too many commitments create pressure. Too many tasks reduce your focus. Review your responsibilities and remove what is not essential. Keep your schedule aligned with your priorities. Simplicity makes it easier to protect your energy and stay focused on what matters. The people you choose to spend time with have a strong influence on your mindset. Seek out individuals who support growth, who communicate clearly, and who respect your boundaries. These relationships do not need to be perfect. They should be balanced and constructive. Positive influence does not mean constant praise. It means interactions that encourage clarity and progress. You may need to accept that some relationships will change as you focus on protecting your energy. Not everyone will understand your decisions. Some may expect you to remain available in the same way. Stay calm and consistent in your approach. You are responsible for your well-being. Maintaining your energy is part of that responsibility. Protecting your energy also means managing your reactions. You cannot control everything that happens, but you can control how you respond. Avoid reacting immediately to every situation. Take a moment to think. This pause allows you to choose a response that preserves your energy. It prevents unnecessary stress. Another useful practice is to create moments of quiet during your day. Silence helps you reset your mind. It allows you to step away from constant input. Even a few minutes can make a difference. Use this time to breathe, reflect, or simply sit without distraction. This habit supports mental clarity and stability. Consistency in these practices leads to long-term benefits. Your focus improves. Your mood becomes more stable. Your productivity increases. You feel more in control of your time and your actions. This creates a positive cycle. As your energy improves, your ability to maintain these habits becomes stronger. It is important to remember that protecting your energy is an ongoing process. It requires regular attention. Situations change. New influences appear. Stay aware of how these factors affect you. Adjust your boundaries and habits as needed. This flexibility helps you maintain balance. Your energy supports everything you do. It affects your ability to think, act, and grow. When you protect it, you create better conditions for progress. When you ignore it, you make your path more difficult. Choose to be intentional with your time, your attention, and your environment. Limit what drains you. Focus on what supports you. Build routines that strengthen your energy. Maintain clear boundaries. Stay aware of your influences. These actions help you create a stable and productive life. As you continue to practice this approach, you will notice a difference in how you feel and how you work. You will have more clarity. You will make better decisions. You will handle challenges with greater control. This is the result of protecting your energy and limiting negative influence. Keep your focus on growth. Maintain your boundaries. Adjust your habits when needed. Stay consistent. Your energy is a key part of your progress. Treat it with care and intention. Chapter 8. Practice consistency and show up even when motivation fades. There is a point in every journey where excitement fades and effort feels heavier than it did in the beginning. At first, everything feels fresh. You feel driven, you feel ready to act, you make plans and imagine results. But that early energy does not stay forever. It fades with time. It fades when the work becomes routine. It fades when progress feels slow. This is where most people stop. Not because they lack ability, but because they depended on motivation to carry them forward. Motivation is unstable. It rises and falls. Consistency is what remains when motivation disappears. Consistency is not about feeling ready. It is about acting even when you do not feel like it. It is about showing up on ordinary days. It is about continuing when the process becomes repetitive. This is where real growth happens. Not in moments of excitement, but in moments of discipline. When you keep going without needing a push, you begin to build strength that cannot be shaken by changing moods. Many people misunderstand consistency. They think it means working at full intensity every day. That is not sustainable. Consistency means steady effort that you can maintain over time. Some days will feel strong. Some days will feel slow. What matters is that you continue. Even small actions count. A short session of focused work is better than waiting for a perfect moment that may never come. Progress builds through repeated effort, not occasional bursts. The mind often resists routine. It looks for comfort. It looks for variety. It looks for reasons to stop. You may feel bored. You may feel tired. You may question whether your effort is worth it. These thoughts are normal. They appear when your brain tries to protect you from effort. You do not need to fight them with emotion. You need to act despite them. When you continue your work without giving in to these thoughts, you train your mind to follow your actions instead of controlling them. One effective way to build consistency is to reduce decision-making. When you decide in advance what you will do, you remove the need to think about it each time. Create a simple routine. Assign specific times for your work. Follow this schedule as closely as possible. This reduces hesitation. It turns your actions into habits. Habits require less effort than constant decision-making. Over time, your routine becomes automatic. It is also important to keep your goals clear. When your direction is uncertain, it is easier to stop. Know what you are working toward. Keep your goals visible. Remind yourself why you started. This keeps your effort connected to a purpose. Purpose supports consistency because it gives meaning to your actions. Tracking your progress can help maintain momentum. When you record what you do each day, you create a visible pattern of effort. This helps you stay accountable. It also shows you how far you have come. Even small improvements become clear when you track them over time. This can be encouraging during periods when progress feels slow. There will be days when you miss a task. This is part of the process. What matters is how you respond. Do not allow one missed day to turn into a pattern. Return to your routine as soon as possible. Avoid negative self-talk. Focus on the next action. Consistency is not about perfection. It is about returning to your path whenever you step away from it. Your environment can support or weaken your consistency. Remove distractions where possible. Keep your workspace organized. Make it easier to begin your tasks. When your environment supports your routine, it becomes easier to follow through. Small changes in your surroundings can have a strong impact on your behavior. Energy management is also important. Consistency becomes difficult when you are exhausted. Pay attention to your rest. Maintain a regular sleep schedule. Take breaks when needed. This allows you to sustain your effort over time. Without proper energy, even simple tasks feel difficult. Another key factor is patience. Results take time. You may not see immediate changes. This can lead to frustration. Stay focused on the process. Trust that your effort is building something valuable. Each day adds to your progress. Even when results are not visible, your consistency is creating a foundation. It is helpful to simplify your expectations. Do not expect every day to be perfect. Focus on completing your core tasks. If you do this consistently, your progress will continue. Avoid adding unnecessary pressure. Keep your approach practical and realistic. Your mindset plays a major role in consistency. View your work as a responsibility rather than an option. When you treat your tasks as non-negotiable, you reduce the chance of skipping them. This does not mean being rigid. It means understanding the importance of your actions and committing to them. You may also benefit from creating small rewards for completing your tasks. This can reinforce your behavior. The reward does not need to be large. It can be a short break, a moment of rest, or something simple you enjoy. This helps your mind associate effort with positive outcomes. Consistency builds confidence. Each time you follow through, you strengthen your belief in your ability to act. This belief makes future tasks easier to approach. You trust yourself more. This reduces hesitation and increases your willingness to continue. There will be moments when you feel like stopping. In those moments, focus on the next step. Do not think about the entire task. Start with something small. Once you begin, momentum often follows. The hardest part is usually the start. After that, the process becomes easier. You must also learn to manage distractions. External interruptions can break your focus. Set boundaries for your time. Limit unnecessary communication during your work periods. Protect your attention. This allows you to maintain your routine without constant interruption. Consistency is built through repetition. Each day you practice it, it becomes more natural. Over time, your actions require less effort. This is how habits form. What once felt difficult becomes part of your normal routine. This shift is important because it allows you to maintain progress without constant struggle. Your long-term success depends on your ability to continue when motivation fades. Anyone can start when they feel excited. Few continue when the excitement is gone. This is where real growth happens. It is in the quiet moments of repeated effort. It is in the days when you show up without feeling ready. As you continue to practice consistency, you will notice changes in your life. Your work becomes more structured. Your progress becomes more steady, your confidence grows. These changes are the result of your repeated actions. They are not random, they are built through your commitment. Keep your approach simple. Focus on what needs to be done. Show up each day. Complete your tasks, adjust when necessary. Continue moving forward. Do not wait for motivation to return. Act without it. Your future is shaped by what you do consistently. Each action contributes to your progress. Stay committed to your routine. Protect your time. Maintain your focus. Continue even when it feels difficult. When you practice consistency and show up even when motivation fades, you build a strong foundation for your life. You create stability. You develop discipline. You move forward with purpose. This is how lasting progress is made. Keep going. Keep showing up. Let your actions define your path. Chapter 9. Develop self-respect by keeping promises to yourself daily. Self-respect is not something you demand from others. It is something you build within yourself through your actions. It is shaped in private moments when no one is watching. It is strengthened every time you make a promise to yourself and choose to keep it. Many people look for respect in the outside world while quietly breaking trust with themselves every day. That creates inner weakness. When you do not keep your own word, your mind slowly learns not to trust you. And when self-trust weakens, confidence becomes unstable. Every promise you make to yourself carries weight. It may seem small in the moment. Wake up at a certain time. Complete a task. Avoid a distraction. Stay committed to a habit. These are simple decisions, but they define your character. When you follow through, you send a message to yourself that your word matters. When you ignore your promise, you send the opposite message. Over time, these repeated actions shape how you see yourself. Self-respect grows in the space between intention and action. Many people have good intentions. They want to improve, they want to change, they want to build better habits. But intention alone does not create respect. Action does. The moment you decide to do something and actually do it, you build trust within yourself. That trust is the foundation of self-respect. Without it, everything becomes fragile. One of the main reasons people lose self-respect is because they constantly break small promises. They delay tasks. They skip routines. They avoid responsibilities they agreed to handle. Each time this happens, it becomes easier to repeat. The mind learns that your words do not have consequences. This weakens discipline and creates internal conflict. You start to feel frustrated with yourself, even if you do not fully understand why. To change this, start with simple promises. Do not set unrealistic expectations. Choose small commitments that you can actually follow through on. Wake up on time. Complete one task before distractions. Finish what you start. These may seem basic, but they are powerful. When you consistently keep small promises, you build a pattern of reliability within yourself. That pattern grows into stronger habits and stronger self-respect. It is important to understand that self-respect is not built in big moments. It is built in ordinary ones. The way you treat your mornings, the way you handle small responsibilities, the way you respond to discomfort. These daily actions define your relationship with yourself. If you ignore them, your self-respect weakens. If you honor them, your self-respect strengthens. There will be days when you do not feel like following through. This is normal. Motivation will not always be present. That is not the point. The real question is whether you can act even when you do not feel ready. Keeping promises to yourself requires discipline, not emotion. When you act despite resistance, you strengthen your inner stability. A powerful way to build self-respect is to write down your daily commitments. Keep them simple and clear, then focus on completing them without overthinking. Avoid adding unnecessary complexity. The goal is not to impress yourself with large plans. The goal is to build trust through consistent action. Each completed promise reinforces your identity as someone who follows through. When you break a promise to yourself, do not ignore it. Acknowledge it honestly. Reflect on what caused it. Then return to your routine without delay. Avoid the trap of self-criticism that leads to inaction. The purpose is awareness, not punishment. You learn from the mistake and continue forward. This keeps your growth steady instead of emotional. Self-respect also requires honesty. You must be honest about your capacity. Do not promise more than you can handle. Overcommitting leads to failure, and repeated failure weakens confidence. It is better to underpromise and consistently deliver than to overpromise and struggle. When your actions match your words, trust grows naturally. Another important aspect is resisting internal excuses. The mind is skilled at creating reasons to delay effort. You may feel tired. You may feel distracted. You may feel that it can be done later. These thoughts are common, but they do not need to control your actions. Recognize them and still proceed with your commitment. This is how you train your mind to follow your decisions instead of your impulses. Your environment can support or weaken your ability to keep promises. A chaotic environment creates distraction and makes it easier to break commitments. A structured environment supports focus. Keep your surroundings organized. Reduce unnecessary distractions. Make it easier to do what you said you would do. This removes friction and strengthens consistency. Time management also plays a role. If your schedule is unclear, it becomes easier to delay tasks. Create structure in your day. Assign time to your commitments. Treat those time blocks with seriousness. When you respect your time, you begin to respect yourself more deeply. Time discipline and self-respect are closely connected. Another way to strengthen self-respect is through reflection. At the end of the day, review your actions. Ask yourself whether you kept your promises. If you did, acknowledge it. If you did not, understand why. This practice builds awareness. It helps you identify patterns that need improvement. Over time, this reflection improves your ability to stay aligned with your intentions. Self-respect also grows when you stop relying on external validation to feel valuable. When you depend on others to confirm your worth, you lose internal stability. Instead, build a habit of measuring yourself by your own standards. Ask whether you acted with discipline. Ask whether you stayed committed. Ask whether you honored your word. These internal standards create a stronger foundation than external approval. It is also important to understand that self-respect is not about perfection. You will not always succeed in keeping every promise. What matters is your response after failure. Do you return to your commitments, or do you give up completely? Strong self-respect is built through recovery. Each time you return to your path after a mistake, you strengthen your internal trust. Consistency is the bridge between intention and self-respect. One action does not create identity. Repeated action does. When you consistently keep your promises to yourself, you begin to see yourself differently. You start to view yourself as reliable. This perception influences your behavior, creating a positive cycle of growth. You may notice that as your self-respect increases, your choices become clearer. You waste less time. You avoid distractions more easily. You become more selective with your energy. This happens because you value your time and effort more deeply. You no longer act against your own standards. There is also a quiet confidence that develops when you keep your word to yourself. It is not loud or dependent on recognition. It comes from within. You know that you can rely on yourself. This confidence is stable because it is based on action, not emotion. Building self-respect is a long-term process. It requires patience and consistency. It is not achieved in a single moment. It is built through daily decisions that align with your intentions. Each promise you keep adds to your foundation. Each broken promise is an opportunity to learn and improve. As you continue this process, your relationship with yourself becomes stronger. You begin to trust your own decisions. You feel more grounded. You act with more clarity. You no longer need constant reassurance from others because your own actions provide evidence of your growth. Keep your promises small and consistent. Focus on follow-through. Avoid unnecessary complexity. Stay honest with yourself. Reflect on your actions regularly. These practices build a strong sense of self-respect over time. When you develop the habit of keeping promises to yourself daily, you build something powerful. You build trust within your own mind. You build discipline that does not depend on mood. You build confidence that is earned through action. This is how self-respect becomes real, not through words, not through appearances, but through the simple act of doing what you said you would do every single day. Chapter 10. Create a clear vision and work quietly toward your goals. A clear vision is not something that appears suddenly. It is something you shape over time through thought, reflection, and honest observation of your life. Many people move through their days without direction, reacting to whatever comes next. This creates confusion and scattered effort. When there is no vision, every distraction feels important, and every opinion feels influential. Life becomes reactive instead of intentional. Creating a clear vision brings structure to your thinking and direction to your actions. A vision is not just about imagination, it is about clarity. It is knowing what kind of life you want to build and what kind of person you want to become. It is not about copying others or following trends. It is about understanding your values and choosing a direction that aligns with them. When your vision is clear, your decisions become simpler. You no longer waste energy on things that do not fit your path. You begin to recognize what deserves your attention and what does not. To create clarity, you need time away from noise. Constant input from outside sources makes it harder to hear your own thoughts. When your mind is filled with opinions, comparisons, and distractions, your direction becomes unclear. Quiet moments allow you to reconnect with yourself. In silence, you can think more honestly. You can evaluate your current situation without pressure. You can ask what truly matters to you without outside influence shaping the answer. A strong vision is built on simplicity. You do not need to define every detail of your future. You only need to understand the direction you are moving in. You may not know every step, but you should know the general path. What kind of work do you want to be doing? What kind of habits do you want to build? What kind of life feels meaningful to you? These questions help shape direction. The answers do not need to be perfect. They only need to be honest. Once your vision becomes clearer, the next step is to protect it. Many people lose direction because they share their plans too early or too widely. Not every goal needs public attention. When you constantly talk about what you plan to do, you spend energy on discussion instead of action. Quiet work creates stronger results because your focus remains internal. You are not performing for approval, you are building for yourself. Working quietly does not mean isolating yourself from others. It means reducing unnecessary exposure to opinions that do not contribute to your progress. It means being selective about what you share and when you share it. It means understanding that progress does not require constant validation. In fact, too much attention can sometimes slow growth by shifting focus away from execution. Discipline plays a key role in turning vision into reality. A vision without action remains only an idea. Daily effort is what transforms direction into progress. This effort does not need to be extreme. It needs to be consistent. Small actions repeated over time create meaningful change. Each day is an opportunity to move closer to what you want to build. Even when progress feels slow, it is still progress. Working quietly also helps you stay focused on improvement instead of comparison. When you are not constantly observing others, you are less likely to measure your progress against theirs. Comparison often creates pressure and distraction. It shifts attention away from your own path. A clear vision keeps your focus on your own development. You begin to evaluate yourself based on your growth rather than external standards. There will be times when your vision feels unclear or distant. This is part of the process. Clarity does not remain constant without effort. It must be revisited and refined. As you gain experience, your understanding may change. This is natural. Adjusting your vision does not mean failure. It means growth. You become more aware of what works for you and what does not. To support your vision, build daily habits that align with it. Your habits are the structure that holds your progress together. If your habits do not support your direction, your vision will remain difficult to achieve. Start by identifying actions that directly contribute to your goals. Focus on these consistently. Remove habits that take you away from your direction. This creates alignment between your intentions and your behavior. Quiet work also requires patience. Results do not always appear quickly. There may be long periods where effort feels invisible. During these times, it is important to trust the process. Progress often happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. The discipline to continue without immediate reward is what separates steady growth from temporary effort. Mental strength is essential when working toward long-term goals. There will be distractions that try to pull you away from your path. There will be moments of doubt. There will be times when motivation is low. A clear vision helps you stay grounded during these moments. It reminds you why you started. It brings your attention back to your direction instead of your emotions. It is also important to manage your expectations. Building something meaningful takes time. Expecting quick results often leads to frustration. Instead, focus on steady improvement. Measure progress in small steps. Acknowledge consistent effort. This keeps your mindset stable and prevents discouragement. Your environment should support your vision. Surround yourself with conditions that encourage focus. Reduce unnecessary noise and distractions. Create space where you can think clearly and work effectively. Your surroundings influence your behavior more than you may realize. A supportive environment makes quiet work easier to maintain. Working quietly also helps you develop independence. You begin to rely less on external validation and more on internal direction. This independence strengthens your confidence. You trust your own process instead of constantly seeking reassurance. This creates a stable foundation for long-term growth. There is also value in being selective with information. Not everything you learn or hear needs to be acted upon. Focus only on what aligns with your vision. Too much information can create confusion. Simplicity helps maintain clarity. When you know your direction, you can filter out unnecessary input more easily. As you continue working quietly toward your goals, you will notice a shift in your mindset. You become more focused. You become more patient. You become more deliberate in your actions. You stop rushing for recognition and start building something meaningful. This change does not happen instantly. It develops through consistent effort and reflection. There is strength in quiet progress. It allows you to grow without pressure from outside expectations. It gives you space to make mistakes and learn without judgment. It creates an environment where improvement becomes natural rather than forced. Over time, this leads to deeper and more stable success. Your vision acts as a guide through uncertainty. When distractions appear, it brings you back to your path. When motivation fades, it reminds you of your direction. When progress feels slow, it helps you stay patient. It is not just a plan. It is a reference point that keeps you aligned with your purpose. Keep your vision clear but flexible. Stay open to learning and adjusting as you grow. Continue refining your actions. Maintain consistency in your effort. Work quietly without unnecessary noise. Let your progress speak through results rather than words. A clear vision combined with quiet, consistent effort creates lasting change. It allows you to build without distraction. It helps you move with purpose. It strengthens your ability to stay focused on what truly matters. Continue shaping your direction. Continue working with intention. Continue building steadily, even when no one is watching.